Okay, I think we are now live. For anyone that's joining this conversation, please give us a couple of little comments to show that you can see us. You're never quite 100% certain you are, but welcome to everyone who's going to be joining us over the next hour. And if you do miss the start of this, you can catch it on the YouTube channel afterwards and watch the full recording. But lovely and long overdue, lovely to welcome you, Hayley, to our series of really informal interviews with members and peers and colleagues in the business and executive support profession in the UK. As you know, I've been wanting to get you on for quite some time now, and I think it's testament to you that you also put your hand up to do it as well. So it's brilliant to have you on board with us this evening. A quick hello from CA to Vic, Hayley, and all. Sheila, I'm assuming that's you if that's CA. All I can see is Facebook user, but I think that must be you. But hello, Sheila, if that is you in Canada. Great to have you with us, because that must be early morning or morning in Vancouver at the moment. Hopefully I've got the right person. Oh yes, it is Sheila. Brilliant. Lovely to have you on with us this evening. Please do say a quick hello in the comments. We are picking them up on the dashboard, and any questions you've got during or any comments, I'll read them out to Hayley. You inserted the flag and guessed it showed up as just the two letters. Yeah, it did on this. But lovely to have you on, Sheila, as always. We'll have to get you on one of these sooner or later. But for those of you that are newer members, last year we were doing a really informal interview series, as I just mentioned, and getting to know about the lives and how people have come into the profession, what their hopes and dreams and career aspirations are for the future. We've got Donna saying hi, she's just driving home from work. Sheila, it's mid-morning here in Vancouver. Timing is lucky as you've just finished a Zoom meeting with some Arizona clients. Wow, what a lovely start to the day for you. And Hayley and I are trying not to look like we're melting and about to here with the heat. So Epa's just moved down to Dorset, and Hayley, you're based up in the West Midlands, aren't you?
Yeah.
Where
that's
are
right.
you in the Midlands?
So I'm in North Birmingham in a place called Sutton. But yeah, it's so warm here, and got the back door open, as you said, try not to melt. But we're just not used to it here, are we?
No. And I was doing a masterclass earlier today, and we were saying that like British houses are built for winter, and new builds now. So if you buy a new build flat or a house, there's always thick plush carpets, you know, really watertight, double glazing, because everything's built to keep us warm during our winter. And it's mad because this is the second summer we've had with like blistering heat, but we wouldn't we didn't moan about it, would we?
Yeah, typical. You can't please us, whether it's cold, hot, whatever. There's no way around it. We're just not happy either way.
No, but apparently it's going to be torrential rain down here in Dorset from Saturday for a couple of days. Don't mind a bit of rain just to take the heat out of the air. So we've got some thunder and lightning due, which I don't mind looking at from the window. But yeah, today has been, well, this week has been especially hot. So Hayley and I will try and look cool and collected over the next while. Oh, Sheila, you're so kind. You're both looking lovely. Not at all so you're melting. Well, I'm just, it's some shading on the camera. No, I'm joking. Sat by the back door like Hayley. And obviously we've both got dogs. So Rossi is here with me tonight and by my side. Hayley's got, is it a cockapoo? Was it a little cockapoo, Honey?
Yeah, that's it.
And Honey's out doing a little short walk at the moment, isn't she? So she could crash at some point in the interview if she comes back. But dogs are always welcome. And people know the coup with Rossi anyway. He does what he wants to do, and it's the evening. But anyway, please, as I said, feel free to comment as we go through this. But I think, Hayley, we take everybody back to school. You're doing your GCSEs. Had you made a decision back then in the last couple of years of school as to what you wanted to do?
I think the decisions for me probably really came in my O-levels. So whilst I was doing my GCSEs, I think I was always interested in business. So I did a business study GCSE, and I think it was my favourite class. But yeah, I think then into my A-levels, that's one thing I regret, actually, not taking that forward. So, yeah, I think something happened. I think it was down to the timetable clashes. I think I couldn't choose certain options. So I went down the other route, which was down the IT route. So I was always really good at IT at school. Just quite tech savvy. And so I went down that route instead. So I had the business at GCSE, IT at A-level. And I did really well with that. So I think that was kind of the idea at the time. And then, carried on into uni. And that's what I kind of chose to do then. But, yeah, that's a whole different story about how that didn't work out. But,
so I think did you start uni and then you came out of it and realised it just kind of wasn't for you? Because that does happen to some people.
That's exactly what it was for me. I think probably all during my A-levels, to be honest, I think I decided that I really, really didn't want to go, but I felt under a massive amount of pressure that I think I had to go. It was the only way I was going to succeed. It was the only way I was going to get a job. All those kind of pressures, I think, that come from being at school, and I don't know, maybe just the pressure that because I could get to university, I had the grades and I was predicted to do well in my A-levels, that I kind of then went down that route, but I didn't feel I had many other options. But yeah, I never wanted to go. I don't regret going now, actually. I'm glad I tried it because I got to the university that I really did want to go to out of all of them. But yeah, I don't think I ever really wanted to go, but did. So yeah, I was there for 3 months and then left because I was meant to have had exams come up in that January in my first year. And what was quite a shock to me was everything I was doing in my first year of uni actually counted towards my degree. Normally it doesn't, and mine did. Yeah, so I was, within a couple of weeks, I was having tests on programming, and I'd never done an inch of programming before in my life. It was like a new language to me. And we were being tested, and I wasn't doing very well because it was completely new to me. But they were like, it's going to count, so you need to be studying. So I was in lectures from 9 till 5, 6 o'clock, straight into the library till like midnight, sleeping, repeat again. So it was a lot, and a big shock to the system, massive, because I think when people talk about going to university, they think, oh, you're going to be in for a couple of hours a day. You basically just living your life. You're just with your friends, away from home. It's a whole new life. It's going to be the best years of your life and all of this. And it was the literal opposite for me.
And it's funny you mention that, because I've often talked about the fact that I came from the wrong background to even be suggested for university, and I got a little bit jealous of my friends that went back then, because that's the vision I had of uni. And I did my secretarial diploma and came straight into the workforce and went the apprenticeship route, and big fan of that. But it's like the reverse here, and you were a part of a generation when the government at that time, or just before you would have been eligible for uni years, were pushing everybody to go to university. Because I remember the job market becoming saturated with graduates, and whereas before, if you were a graduate, they were few and far between, and they obtained really good salaries. But then I can remember the Prime Minister at the time saying it's all about university, everybody needs to go, and yet they kind of almost shunted out and pushed away the apprenticeship programs. This is no longer fashionable or trendy, and yet actually listening to you, you might have been better served going into an apprenticeship instead, learning and earning, as they call it.
And that's what I did. That's exactly what I did when I left, because I think, to be honest, pretty much as soon as I started university, I think, it was worse than I thought it'd be just for me. It just didn't suit me at all. It really suited, like all of my friends have been, they absolutely loved it, but it just didn't work for me. So I think
that's some credit to you for being honest about that, though. You don't get many people, even when they haven't succeeded in that framework, don't get many people saying it wasn't wasn't for me, just wasn't the right environment. So all credit to you for just acknowledging that and jumping out early rather than getting like into year 2 or 3 of this degree and then thinking, oh, actually, I don't like this, which happened to one of my friends, and she was kicking herself because she was like, I could have been in the workplace, earning money and actually climbing the ladder.
Yeah, definitely.
Already.
I think that was in the back of my head. I think I needed to go and experience it and just make sure for myself that it definitely was not the right thing to do, because I could have had the perception that it wasn't going to work out and it would have been the best thing I ever did, but it just confirmed it wasn't right. So in those 3 months, I kind of took that time to I threw myself into it, joined all the sports clubs, just worked as hard as I possibly could, gave it my all.
Yeah.
Because then I knew I could leave and that was it. I was happy. It definitely wasn't right and I could move on then.
Must have took a weight off your shoulders, to be honest with you.
Yeah. My mum and dad would have pulled me out within a week, honestly. They were like, you need to come home. I was like, no, I'm okay. I wasn't all right. But I had to give myself that time to just tell myself and reassure myself that it wasn't the right thing. And it was in the back of my head that I didn't want it to almost stop me proceeding. I didn't want to leave it too long and then leave it too long since I left school, or I needed to make that decision, get on with it and find something else and then kind of give that my all instead. And that's what I did. Within a week of leaving, I'd got my IT apprenticeship. So straight on with that then.
Wow. So how did the apprenticeship come about? Did you approach a local college? Just for anyone that has got children that might be thinking of going down the apprenticeship route, because it is back on the table now as an option. Like we've discovered with you, not everybody wants to go to university, and the apprenticeship route really suited me. I was keen to get working. So how did it come about for you?
So it was purely off my own back. I was really unsure actually how to find it, to be honest. I think, as you just said, it's really hard to know who to go to. Obviously, by that point, I was out of the school system, so I didn't have any kind of careers advisor or anyone in that kind of position to help. So I think it was mainly research on the apprenticeships, kind of the main apprenticeships website. I think you could filter it by location or exactly what kind of topic you wanted to kind of study. And then, I found a local kind of training company, apprenticeship provider that was doing IT apprenticeships and customer service, business admin, those kind of like, vocational skills, and just got in touch with them. Luckily, there was a cohort starting in the new year. So it was January when I started and I left university in the November. So it timed really well with the calendar year rather than waiting kind of September for the school year to come back round. And it was just my own research. It was hard because you don't really know where to go. You don't know what's the best place to have an apprenticeship. So just my own research, like on the apprenticeships website, looking at reviews, seeing which ones seemed good in my area and what appealed to me. Just I liked the fact that I was in college, in the centre for I think about a month or two straight, all like kind of every single day. So I had the chance to meet people. So I was mixing with people who also didn't want the university route. So I was making friends as well, kind of other people on the course. So that really helped when all of my friends were obviously all away at university. Didn't feel so kind of on my own, kind of isolated kind of thing. So, and then I went straight into full-time work.
So what was your first job?
So it was in a local garden centre to me.
Brilliant. So we've got to start somewhere. So what were you doing at the garden centre?
So I was doing kind of all the behind the scenes, so running the website, running the social media, bit of customer service on the phone. It actually really opened up so many different areas to me. And And yeah, a summer at a garden centre I'm not going to do again if I can help it. It was so busy.
Yeah, they are very, very busy places. I imagine, well, I did hear on the news during some of the lockdowns, I think initially in that first lockdown, they weren't open, or not many of them were open. They weren't seen as essential retail, but I think they allowed them. And anyone watching can correct me if I'm wrong, but our local garden centre ended up opening from the second lockdown afterwards, and they were just selling out because suddenly everyone just went crazy. Doing up their gardens, or if they had a little patio on the or terrace from their flat, they wanted little pots of herbs and things they wanted to grow. I think it was just anything to distract from COVID and the pandemic. But I totally get it. It's they're very busy places in the summer anyway here, but let alone with the lockdown.
I can imagine. So but it was just funny. My first experience with customer service was informing people about different types of fencing and what kind of structures they can have in their garden and things like that. So it was really good because, as I say, it completely opened up so many different areas that I'd just not experienced before. And I think obviously I can remember how nerve-wracking it was now going on the phone for the first time with a customer, but those are the skills that kind of set me up going into the rest of my career, having to be dropped in at the deep end. Like, you need to, this is a customer, a paying customer, and you need to kind of help them answer their queries and provide a good service. And so, I was doing, the customer service alongside the website and kind of all the networks and all the kind of IT around it.
So at that point still, were you still thinking about an IT career then, somewhere in the IT tech sphere?
I think my mum hit the nail on the head, actually. I think what she said to me was, you love IT, but you like using it, not making it kind of, like building networks or building computers, that kind of thing. She was like, you're really good with using Word, PowerPoint, Excel, kind of all the actual software in technology rather than the hardware side of it. So I think that was kind of like a bit of a light bulb moment to me, really, that actually I think she is right. It's not that side that I want. It's on a computer with technology, because it comes really easily to me. I enjoy using it. So that, I think, was in the back of my head when I'd started my IT apprenticeship. And I went down that route just because, again, you're kind of a bit stuck as to how you think you're going to kind of get into your career and what's the best next move. Is it going to actually help me long term, or is it kind of just I'll do this now and move on to something else later? So after I finished my IT apprenticeship was when I then got my business admin apprenticeship. And that's when I think all the skills really came to me, and I really realised that I could make a career out of that. So that's when I think the assistant dream kind of really came to the forefront of my mind, I think.
So who was the next employer after the garden centre then? Was that an employer tied up with the business administration? Or
So I did my 1 year IT apprenticeship, and then with a new provider. So I went to a college for my admin apprenticeship, a local one in Birmingham. And then, got a new full-time work placement, which was at an accountancy firm in Birmingham city centre. So, again, completely different industry. But, I've ended up staying in financial services now. So it was a good step in the right direction.
Sometimes you just get in that industry and you realise that this is good for you and your career right now. So how long were you in the accountancy firm?
Again, for a year, because I completed my admin apprenticeship, and that's when I then got my PA position straight after that. So it all happened very fast.
And it does, and it did happen to me very fast. I think if you've got the drive and the eagerness, and you've got that mindset to spot opportunities that come, coming your way and grabbing them, then it's just all go. And that's certainly what happened happened in my career, so I completely get that. So what was the first PA role then? Because obviously there is a difference between admin and PA, but admin's the brilliant base point of at least getting some of the nuts and bolts of the PA role. What made you kind of, okay, let's seek out a PA role, or did it just become available and you actually thought, actually I can see some synergy here, this is a good fit?
I think during the time I was doing my admin apprenticeship, I think it was always my dream role anyway. And I think the skills I was getting from my apprenticeship, while I was on my apprenticeship, I was pretty much the office manager anyway. So I had a lot of those skills that I could take somewhere else. And yeah, my mum's a PA as well, I think.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Is
she?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
she is. Yeah.
Oh, so it's in the genes then. It's totally
it's in the genes. Yeah. So, and we're very similar people.
Yeah.
And I think I was kind of obviously always had her there as a support and kind of a role model. So I think always having that in the back of my head, I think helped kind of having mum there and seeing her in that career probably really helped me decide, this is actually what I really want to do as well. So no, I actively looked for it. I knew my admin apprenticeship was coming to an end and it wasn't a position I could have had at the company at the time. So I couldn't have stayed on and stayed in that position or kind of got a promotion into that. So then, I went to an agency, a local agency to me here in the city centre. And within a week, I got my assistant job. So as we were saying earlier, it just happened so fast. But I was really determined to get it. And funnily enough, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I was up against all graduates to get the job. So
the irony there.
Full circle.
Yeah. And I found myself up against a lot of graduates in London for certain roles as well. And it is kind of ironic when, especially for me, when I was told that I, didn't have enough intelligence to be at a university, but for you having made that decision that wasn't the right environment, and then to find you in a candidate pool with them, there is a bit of sweet irony there, I think. For sure. So what was the first PA role like then? So
I think it was quite a good role for me to kind of start my career, because I was actually my exec, I was his first PA. It was my first PA role. So for the two of us, it was kind of like, we'll figure this out together.
That's an interesting dynamic. You don't hear of people starting off and the boss is, that exec or manager, boss, whatever you want to call them, never having had an assistant themselves before. So that would have been really interesting.
Yeah. I think actually it really helped me, because I could very quickly make it my own. I think we just figured out how best we were going to work together, what he needed from me, how I could best support him with the skills that I had. And really the reason why he wanted an assistant, and then I could kind of mould to that, but equally bring myself to the role, because there's no shoes to fill. It's not like there's an expectation, well, my last PA did this, so can you do that? But so I made it completely my own.
Brilliant.
And got a lot of opportunities there. I then became the office manager, I think after about a year and a half as well. So that was a new kind of part to my role. Did a lot around health and safety. So I was on the committee there for that, and was a first aid, a fire marshal, you name it, probably had it somewhere in the title. So just getting myself as much experience and kind of opening myself up to loads of different areas and as much as I possibly could to help. It's what I really wanted to do. So that's what happened.
So how long were you at that firm for?
So just over 4.5 years.
Okay.
And then, so I think what I was worried about was the fact that I just left university, was there for 3 months, did 2 one-year apprenticeships, and thought, someone might look at me and think I'm just job hopping and I'm not very loyal. I can't commit to anything. So I remember my tutor at my admin apprenticeship saying to me, Hayley, you've got to stick this out for 2 years. You have to, because otherwise it's not going to work in your favour with your career. So I thought, right, okay, I'll do 2 years and then I'll move on to something else. But I expanded within the role and it was a great place to work. So, I stayed there and just kind of grew within the company. So
you then had a robust 4.5 years in your CV.
Yeah,
exactly. Which was brilliant.
Yeah.
So what happened next then? Did you decide that you've done as much as you can do with the role here, as much as you can give to the company? Now it's time to look for the next step.
That was it. Yeah. I think I'd grown within my role and then kind of hit a ceiling, and it was nothing wrong with the company. I'd have stayed for the people, everything like that. It's just for me, again, just for me personally, I still wanted to keep growing and developing. And within that position, I wasn't able to. So that's kind of what it came down to. And then, so I decided that probably in about February. God, I can't think what year it was now. Was it last year? I don't know. Yeah, must have been. Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
COVID, just I can't work out the years now, but
don't ever feel bad about that. I think COVID's fried all of our brains in different ways because it's just been such a surreal experience and life as we haven't really known it before. So so you decided just before the pandemic kicked off that it was time to move career.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it was the end of Feb. I think I then started to kind of just put the feelers out there, see what else was out there. And there was loads of jobs at that time. I think I was kind of looking, thinking, oh, okay, well, within a couple of weeks, by end of March, I'll probably be leaving this job and starting a new one. And then my appointments with people started to get cancelled because they were all working from home. They were going to phone calls. And then, I was getting in touch with recruiters and they were saying, there's nothing. You just we'll keep your details and get in touch when there's something. And
and who knew when that was going to be at that point? Yeah.
And there was just nothing. It just went from me thinking, oh, in 2 weeks, I'm sure I'll have secured something because I don't know what I'm like. I'd have kind of really given it my all, and I had a pretty good idea of exactly what I wanted from my next job. So I was quite picky in terms of, well, I don't think that's quite right, so I'll leave that one. And so I was only going after the things that I really thought was the best next move for me. Did you feel
a little bit deflated when the pandemic hit, thinking, okay, or did you? I mean, I guess part of you must have done, but the other part was probably thinking, okay, I'm lucky to be still in work at the moment when so many people were on furlough and then starting to lose their jobs. It was kind of. I'm guessing you must have felt a combination of both there.
Yeah, and it was a very strange feeling because I think because I was deciding to leave, I almost felt bad that I was in the market for people who had just lost their jobs.
You're not the only person who said that to me back then. Yeah.
I felt like, I'll just wait because I feel bad that people haven't got this choice. They are being made redundant. They don't get a choice about leaving like I did. But I was starting to become unhappy. I think it was the right time for me to kind of find something else and move on. It was really, but then as you say, I was just glad that I was at home. I had a stable job. I think it got me through the fact I still had work because I honestly don't know what I'd have done if there wasn't that kind of routine and that bit of normality when everything else is so unexpected, uncertain, and just completely a whole new world for us. So it was really hard, and it was so hard then trying to find a job in that time. Anything that came up, my mindset had completely changed, and anything that came up, I was like, I'm just going to have to go for it because I really want to change jobs and I need something else. And it took months. It took months for me to even get an interview, and I just was getting rejection after rejection. I think
And what did that do to your confidence then? Because, you know, rejection is tough for all of us.
Yeah.
There's very few people. I mean, you know, in the acting world, they say, oh, we have to get used to it. It's part and parcel of the whole process of getting your next gig. But, you know, a lot of actors still say it's really brutal. And did you take it personally? Did it knock your confidence? Or did you think, well, this is not only happening to me, this must be happening to hundreds of people, just getting rejected left, right and centre, or not hearing anything at all? What was going on in your head back then?
I took it quite personally. I think at the time, I don't know, having gone through my therapy and kind of addressed a few things for me personally since that point, I can now contribute that to, I very much took it personally. I thought, but I just thought I was up against people who've kind of potentially got 20, 25, 30 years experience, and I've only been in the role less than 5 at that time. So I thought that I just didn't think I stood a chance. I just
you don't often get a lot of feedback these days from a lot of recruiters. They don't get it from the employers themselves because you know, when you've got a market of so many people applying, and so therefore you're left to sit there with your mind whirling. Is it me? What have I done wrong? Am I not good enough? Do I need to sharpen up here? I mean, you just get nothing back, so therefore it just doesn't help, does it, really?
No. And I wasn't even getting to that point to speak to a person, I don't think. I think it was, you know, the kind of automated systems where they'll look for certain things. Yeah. And I don't think I was even getting past that point. So I put my application in, maybe 2 days later, that's it. It's not going any further. And it was just, I just couldn't get my head around what more I could have done to get past that point, because I feel like I'm much better in person rather than what is said about me on a bit of paper. So I just was dying just to get an interview, to sit me in front of someone. I can show how ambitious I am. I can show how much I want to grow and develop within the role and keep the business moving forward and all of that. But you can't say that on your paper. You can't say that on your CV as well as you probably can explain it to someone's face and really show you really mean it. So, the first interview I had was for the job I now have. Before that, that was it. I wasn't getting anything. And, I went through 4 stages of interviews to get this job now. So it was tough.
And you
really tough.
You were on the Time to Train webinar with us, with lots of people a couple of years ago, and you mentioned then that you were up against how many people?
900.
900 candidates. I mean, I don't know whether anyone watching has been aware that they've been up against that many people. Those sort of numbers we saw at the start of the global financial recession in 2008, that became a really ugly market. And some of these obviously job sites, hey, you see, don't you, how many people have applied, or they've sort of switched them out, too many applicants, and you're kind of like, right, I won't bother there then. But you were actually told you were up against
my boss told me. So my now boss, he said to me, not long after I started, actually, I think we were talking about how I found the process, and I think kind of he was asking for my feedback so that when we hire other people kind of in the future, how did I find it? Because it was very different to how they'd done it previously, obviously because of the pandemic. So 3 of the stages were either a phone call or on a video. So it was very different to how they'd done it before. So I think he wanted my feedback in terms of that. And he was like, we had over 900 people apply. I say it now and I still don't believe it. I can't get my head around it.
I'm glad he didn't tell you that, or no one told you that during, because I think even the strongest, most confident person would have been like, wow. And that's, I mean, that must have been really tough for your employer as well, having to sift through all that. And technology and artificial intelligence can sift some of it straight away, but clearly your CV got through, which is brilliant. How many people you were up against in the interview stage? Did you ever find that out?
So the first one was a voicemail, Never had to do that before.
A voicemail? Right.
Yes.
Some people watching may never have been through this. What does this mean?
So I got sent an email and it had 5 questions on there, and I had to then phone this number, read out the questions to myself and answer them, and then just put the phone down. So
how did that feel? How did that feel?
I actually didn't think I did very well, because I think I've got myself so worked up. I think it's the first interview I've had. I haven't interviewed for nearly 5 years. It just was a bit overwhelming, and I think holding the phone, I was shaking, because thinking I've got to do well here. I've got to get exactly across what I need to say. But I thought, well, I don't want it to go on forever, because I kind of need to get to the point, tell them everything they need to know, and then put the phone down. That's it.
I think my hand would have been stuck to the phone, like just.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. So what was the second stage after that? Presumably you then get notified you've been successful in that round.
Yeah. Trying to think. Oh, that was it. Yes, there was the CV submission. Then you had the voicemail. Then it was a group interview. And I'd never done a group interview before. I didn't know what to expect. I assumed it would have been, say, like a Teams call. Everyone had the cameras off and things like that. And it wasn't. I could see everyone. I could see the other people I was up against. And, that was, that was really scary.
That just reminds me of the programme, The Apprentice, on BBC, which I watch with a lot of PAs every year. We're always on Twitter. That's you need a lot of confidence to do something like that.
And I think the job was meant to be, because for that group call, I was away on holiday in Wales. I couldn't, I'd booked the trip. It was in the middle of COVID. There was no way it was going to get changed. So I just said to my partner, I'm just going to have to go downstairs. I was in like a public lobby. There was people walking past, going to the rooms, dogs walking past, staff, everything. Someone actually came up to me in the middle of the call and asked me where their room was. So I had someone stood here talking to me. Yeah. The amount of stuff that happened in that interview, you would not believe. I got kicked out of the Zoom call 4 times. So when they kind of went round and did they were asking people questions in front of everyone, so you had to just answer. I think one of mine was something to do with how you organise yourself and how you kind of keep like a track of your tasks and things like that. But it went round all other 11 people, and I got missed because I think I've come in and out that much. They kind of lost track of who they'd asked and who they hadn't. I had to kind of interrupt and just say, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but I haven't been asked anything." So then they had to come back to me, and that was about 2 hours of an interview. I think it was quite a long time. And so I think there was 50 people went to the voicemail stage. There was 12 of us at the group call, and then 4 went for the face-to-face final interview.
I'll tell you what, when you got the call to say you've got the job, I mean, you must have been popping open bottles of champagne.
I think I cried. I think I just sat in tears. I just could not believe it after everything for months, just constant rejection, not knowing whether I was ever going to get another job, whether I'd have to just kind of feel like I was taking a step back rather than continuing my career. If I'd have to go back into just doing some training again, if that's what I needed to get a job at that time. And I think I had the phone call. I don't think I answered. I don't think I said yes, I'll accept, because I think I just started crying because I just couldn't believe it.
Oh wow! Well, congratulations. I mean, you did that in the middle of a pandemic, and that just goes to show how much resilience you've got. To have kept going through a process like that. There'll be people who end up watching this interview back saying, oh goodness, I haven't been through that myself before. Most people nowadays are going through quite robust processes to get jobs, but not sure they would have been in group interviews and voicemails and stuff like that. But I totally get it from your employer's perspective as well. When you've got that amount of candidates and you're trying to get somebody who's really, really good, and clearly they have now got somebody who's really, really good. So how's it been going?
Yeah, really, really well. It's quite funny actually, but I'm my now exec's first assistant as well. Every time I've kind of started a new PA role, I've been the first one in the door. So, but now I had that experience behind me, so I kind of went in and knew what I was doing. So, quite quickly just figured out exactly how we needed to work best from having done it before. So I knew the right questions to ask, and especially with it all being virtual, because we had to figure things out, not face to face. So we had to quite quickly realise, oh, this is the work that's expected of me. This is the expectations. This is how my boss likes to communicate. All of those things that you kind of figure out by sitting in front of someone and kind of working through things together, I very much felt on my own because of being at home from that. But yeah, everyone's been so welcoming, and I've started to meet people now that are at the company, now that we are easing out of the restrictions and things. But it's going really, really well. I'm soon to be taking on the lead with all the marketing and the social media, because my exec's seen how well I'm doing on LinkedIn, and how people always ask me, they're like, how do you know what to do? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of just being myself. It's just me. It's just I'm posting things that I think are helpful to other people, or
it's about authenticity, I think, with you, because I've read some of your posts. There's so much fakeness and falseness across social media sites now. People trying to be something they're not, or pretending there's something they're not, and you just come across as really someone who's really, really authentic, and I'm not surprised that your employer's already picked up on that and thinking, right, how can she translate that back to the company? So that's brilliant. So also in addition to that, you're a member of the West Midlands PA Forum. Have just joined one of their committees.
I have. So the L&D committee look after all of the kind of lunch and learn sessions we do, and the big conference that we run. So I joined that this year, really enjoying that. And it was the first network actually I got told about, probably because it's a West Midlands and local one to me. But it's the first event I ever went to in a network, and things always seem to come full circle with me. But now I'm on the committee and up for the awards, and
I know, congratulations.
So thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the 2 awards you're up for, just in case anyone hasn't seen your posts on LinkedIn. So it's this year's West Midlands PA Awards, and they're happening in October, November time?
So the award ceremony is the 5th of November.
Okay.
So, bonfire night, which will be really nice, because there's a local cricket ground close to where the hotel is that we're going to, and they do a massive kind of fireworks display, and I think we'll be able to see it from there. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So what two awards are you up for?
So I'm up. I every time I say this, I can't actually believe the words are coming out my mouth. But I'm up for Networker of the Year and PA of the Year. So
fantastic! That's just brilliant. I just think it's fantastic what you've achieved in a short time with your career, and just reaching new heights. And did you put yourself forward for the awards, or was it a combination of other people nominating you as well?
Yes, it was actually a mix of the two. And I don't mind saying it, I put myself up for Networker of the Year, because networking wasn't even a thing for me 12 months ago. So because the awards are kind of based on the last 12 months, this last 12 months have been a huge kind of period of growth for me, and something I've really developed and actually love doing now. I love meeting people in our community face to face and doing things like this. But yeah, you wouldn't have got me doing this 12 months ago. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't even know all of this existed. So how much I've kind of come on and developed, and my confidence has grown and all of that. I thought, well, that's a huge amount to have done in the last 12 months. So yeah, I put myself up for Network of the Year. And PA of the Year, I actually got 2 nominations from 2 different people.
Wow.
Yeah, I had 2 emails telling me I've been nominated. So that was really lovely. So my mentor on the PA Forum mentoring scheme, she nominated me. And then another lady that I've met through another network, she nominated me as well. So I had 2 come through. So that was really, really touching, actually. Really nice.
Brilliant. Yeah. So we've got a tractor going up the hill here. This is your life, moving to Dorset. But congratulations on getting those, and enjoy every minute of it. Yeah, I it's not often I make predictions about many people, but I can see you in the shortlist for some national awards in the coming years.
Oh, thank you.
For sure, you've just got that drive, and I find it very, very inspiring. Even though I've had my 20-odd year career, and a lot of stuff happened to me when I was very young, so I just escalated it. I had a 10-year rough plan, but it happened a lot sooner, and so I had to keep replanning. Oh, what do I want now? What do I want to achieve? And I recognise, looking back at my own career, just that same drive and motivation, and just going for it. Really, I think it's just fantastic. So, what's next on the agenda for you? You're in a fantastic role at the moment. Anything else that you're kind of planning for the next immediate term for your career and goals and things like that?
I think, I'm really enjoying the role that I'm in now. I think it was definitely the right one for me because it's got so much scope to grow, and not just within the role, but me kind of having an impact within the business. It's what I love about it. My exec is really supportive when it comes to my training and my development. It was a question I asked at interview because I don't think a lot of PAs are in that position. I think they have to fight quite hard to get training and kind of be seen as equal in that sense in terms of development within the role. So that was one big thing for me that I wanted. I really wanted that support like any other member of staff. I'm looking forward to kind of pushing forward with the socials and the marketing with our business, seeing how far we can get with that. Because it's just not something that the business really kind of gives the time and effort to at the moment, just because there's obviously so many other things to do, and we get the majority of our referrals. Well, that's how we get our students in, through referrals. So that's brilliant, but we just feel like that there's a gap. And
I think a lot of people have assumed that every single organisation and business is all over social media, but there's still places that aren't. And your firm, as you've said, have spotted this gap, and you've got the skills to help facilitate that. So I think that's really, really natural thing for you to do, and I think you're going to do really, really well at it. Obviously, we're going to get you on our stage next year as well. You'll find out more about that soon. Yes, we've already gone in for the kill and asked her, and we don't beat the bush on this sort of thing. But I'm thrilled you've accepted because, we are a national body. We're not regional. We're national, and it doesn't matter how old you are or how much experience you've got. Everybody's got a story to tell, and I think. The majority of EPAA members, if not all of them, would agree that you're an extremely inspiring person for our profession. I can see there's going to be lots to come from you in the coming years, but just what you've been through in the last year with that whole transition with the job market, going through that, the rejection and just wanting to get on with your career and still pushing, that's going to be inspiring to anybody, wherever they are in their career, if they've been made redundant or they've just a little bit plateaued in their current job or not enjoying it. It will help them give that drive and inspiration and confidence to move on as well. That we can all do it.
So and that's what I really want to do. I really want to almost that's why I think I'm so honest and kind of quite vulnerable really on kind of LinkedIn, my Instagram account, things like that, because I couldn't see that with anyone, as in, I think just only really this year have I had kind of role models within the industry and people who I can really go to for support. Like, I felt very much on my own with my career and kind of in my role and things like that before, which is probably why it was such a big driver for me to get into networks, like join associations like EPAA and keep connecting with people, to really build that support system around me, because I just hadn't had anything like that before. So.
And it becomes fundamental, because I remember feeling in exactly the same way, you were at the time, and I was EA to the CEO of a charity, and I came across what was then called UMA, which is now IMA. And that was just quite explosive for my career. And it became very important to me that I had those networks. It was just part and parcel of my career, and then my career exploded because of it. So there's a lot to be said for having really, really good, robust networks and your peers around you, for sure. But thank you so much for joining us this evening. Now, I will copy. I know you're not on Facebook, are you, in the group? But I will copy. I'll do some screenshots for you later and send them to you. But thank you for being brave enough to put yourself up for these interviews. Hopefully, it hasn't been too terrifying. They're just, as I said, very informal, relaxed, conversational. But inspiring as well, because it is really great to hear everybody's stories and backgrounds, because we've all come to this. Some of us in similar ways. Some people have come from other professions entirely into ours. One of our members used to be a policewoman, and now she's come over to be a PA. Yeah, so that there's lots of people coming into the PA EA roles in different ways now. So it's good to get that vibe and understanding from all of you that have got these different stories and inspiring other people and the next generation as well. So. As always, we want young people to consider this as a career option, and you certainly did, and you're certainly achieving it. So, as I said, the big stuff is going to come from you in the next few years, big stuff. So I'll be waiting with bated breath and watching and following you. Not too much pressure there, but
only a little bit.
Only a little bit, but in a good way. But as I said, there's some really good energy that's come from you, and what you've come through in the last year. It's incredible, really, really incredible.
Thank you.
So hats off to you for that. And we'll be seeing you on an EPAA conference platform next year. Really excited about that, Hayley. And well done.
Yeah, me too.
Putting yourself up for that, because it is terrifying to a lot of people, but it's something I think you'll enjoy.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think I've seen a couple of posts on LinkedIn and things recently just about kind of feeling nervous about things. And for me, that has definitely changed in the last year. I think I used to, I'd have felt really nervous coming on to do something like this, but I don't feel like that anymore. I see it as such an exciting opportunity, and probably because I've kind of put myself out there just as myself. There's no kind of filter or mask or anything like that. So people already know me and know who I am. So because of the way I am on social. So I don't get nervous because nothing I'm going to say is anything different than just me being myself. So I think that really helps. So no, I'm really excited. It's a great opportunity. So thank you for asking me.
So am I. So watch this space. We're just starting to work on that now. Now all the move is completed, and we're almost settled into country life. And with the EPAA set up as well, I'll definitely be in contact again about that very soon, so we can tie up all the details. But thank you again for giving up your evening.
That's okay. Thanks for having me.
Looks like we've had Sharon and Jill there. I can't see all the users, but I'll be able to look at that in the Facebook group. But again, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you for the last hour. And hopefully I'll get to see you in person very soon.
I hope so.
Fingers crossed, no more lockdowns, but we don't know at the moment. But keep safe, keep well, everybody. And we'll all see each other in person very soon. And good luck to Hayley for the awards.
Thank you.
Crossed.
Yeah.
Take care.
Fingers crossed.